Good afternoon, everyone. It's great being in London. You're so close to the, record $17 trillion of negative interest rates, so it's great being a gold developer coming to Europe. I'm with Revival Gold, President and CEO, as a cautionary note on our presentation. I'm in the business not, though, because of the gold price, but because coming from industry and being a mining engineer, I see this great opportunity to address the gap between pace of global production and pace of global discovery, let alone permitting, let alone financing, let alone taking projects through into producing assets. So there's a big gap, and I think it's a great opportunity for investors. We've built Revival Gold around that gap, a growth company in gold focused on advanced stage brownfield assets in good geography. And we've started with the Beartrack Arnett Project in Idaho, a very popular state. Since we got involved in the state, we've had a few others join us there, and it's really taken off. We're underway with an aggressive exploration program towards development, and we'll have an updated resource out in the first quarter next year. We have a very tight capital structure, and I think this is important for investors. 53 million shares outstanding, with about a third of our ownership in institutional hands, a third in high net worth, and management at about 13%, of which I'm about a half. So we really look after every dollar that comes into the company and how it's spent. Market cap about $30 million. I talked about the team earlier. I'm a mining engineer by training. I cut my teeth at Placer Dome and then went on to Kinross and was part of taking that company from a $1.7 billion company to a $17 billion company. I retired in late 2009, but as I said, I've come back into the business because I do see this great opportunity to create the next great gold company, a growth company in gold. Diane Garrett is our non-exec chair. She did a lot of what we envisioned to do with Beartrack with Hale in South Carolina on the last turn, took that company from a $20 million idea to a $600 million thereabouts takeout by Oceana. Wayne Hubert's on our board, former CEO of Andean, which went from $100 million to $3.5 billion takeover by Goldcorp. We have deep roots in Idaho with Don Byrack, former VP Exploration with Coeur d'Alene, with AngloGold Shanti. Our general manager is the former general manager for the operation based in Salmon, Idaho. So we've got on this team capital markets capability, Idaho expertise, and very strong connections with the asset that we're working. We're in Idaho. I won't dwell on this, but it's a very prospective state, a lot going on there, ranked by Fraser Institute as being one of the most prospective places to be investing in mining, actually ahead of Ontario, Quebec, Mexico, Finland. A lot of you may not recognize that really Idaho's come out of apparently nowhere, but its roots go way back in mining. We're in the Beartrack Gold Project, which is the largest former producing mine in the state of Idaho. We came out in 2018 with a maiden 2 million ounce resource. We extended the strike about a kilometer south of the existing footprint of the resource over the drilling seasons just past. And we continue to find gold. We've hit on every hole. We actually started in Idaho with the neighboring Arnett Project. It's a land position that hosts a historic resource of about 400,000 ounces of gold. We've been doing a lot of regional work, systematic exploration, modern work to take that forward and prioritize targets for future drilling. In the meantime, we've been focused in one particular area on the property, and it's given us quite a bit of joy. Here's our land position, about 5,100 hectares. Over 3.5 million ounces of gold have been discovered and or produced from this property position to date. We're in a big gold system. At Beartrack, it's hosted within a shear zone along the Panther Creek fault. It's about 5.6 kilometers that we've outlined to date, mineralized throughout. And again, we've hit on every hole we've drilled on this system. It's a very exciting prospect to be in. The pink shading is the gold mineralization. The only reason there's any white in between it is because we haven't drilled in those areas. Our focus for drilling this past year was in the U.S.A. area. And the drill data that you see on this slide will be part of our resource update that I mentioned earlier, coming out first quarter next year. Skipping ahead here, this is a picture of the south footprint of the Beartrack mineralized system. I mentioned to you that we'd extended that almost a kilometer south, and this is a picture. The dashed line is that kilometer in distance, just to give you a sense of scale. We have high grade in this system, although we're focused on the upper levels and the pit potential. It's a near vertical shear zone, and it opens up close to surface. And for the geologists in the crowd, you know that as you go deeper and you're in the confined areas of these systems, you do tend to get higher grades. Some of those grades are pictured here. We really haven't truly followed up on those, but of course in due time we will. Focus for the moment is on the near surface potential. We are open at depth though, we're open on strike. This is the geophysics we've run recently on the property position. A couple of key things to point out. Number one, you can tell from this mag anomaly picture that we've got some pretty big anomalies here. It's indicative of a very active gold system, or mineral system, I should say, and it's I don't think coincidental that we've got a gold associated with those anomalies. I will skip over this slide and go right to the drilling that we did in the Haiti area on the Arnett target this year. We now have 39 core holes in this system. It's quite close space drilling, about 200-foot space drilling. Reason being, we wanted to get this into the resource for the update that I've been speaking to you about. The intercepts here are difficult to read, but there's presentations in the back of the room, and I invite you to grab a hold of those. Basically, what we have here is a series of veins that are in the order of 20 to 60 meters wide, grades of 0.6 to 1.2 grams per ton, inoxidized material hosted within a granite structure that is all close to surface. And here's a bit of a cross-section to give you a feel for the orientation. So this is looking north, and we've got this series of mineralized zones which are all close to surface. This is all within about 125 drilled meters of surface, and so relatively low strip material. The reason why this has been a priority for us to find this leachable material is we've got an existing ADR plant at Beartrack. It's part of our deal with U.S.A, and it's a working plant that's actually producing gold right now, nothing consequential and not for our account, but this is infrastructure that we can redeploy on leachable material in the future. We've got leach ponds, a cyanidation permit, power to site, 69 kVA power line, and of course roads, and we're about an hour's drive from the town of Salmon, Idaho. So no requirement for a camp, no big infrastructure spend, and we're looking for a critical mass of leachable material in the order of 500,000 to 1 million ounces, and we'll look to get this plant back up and running. In terms of what's next, at Beartrack Arnett, we've completed the summer drill program. We're underway with the updated resource with about 15,000 meters of drilling from last year, and this that's going into that resource update. We are underway with metallurgical test work. We'll have that out shortly. We've got some regional soil sampling work we'll get out here shortly. And all of this will culminate in an updated resource at in the first quarter next year. If all's going well, we'll be right into the PEA on the leach material for next year. We've got lots of growing interest in the story and the stock. I encourage you to talk to the folks at Beacon who understand the story and have been here before, been to the project. We're busy looking at other opportunities for growth in this environment. We've got a very strong team and strong financial backing. Thanks very much for your time and interest. Our deal with, the question is, Beartrack's under option, how much do we have to pay? And our deal with U.S.A is quite straightforward. We put $8 million US in the ground over a 4-year period while they continue their closure obligations. And at the end of that 4-year period, we take over ownership. In 7 years' time, we pay Yamana the greater of either $5 an ounce of resource or $15 an ounce of reserve. So all of our payments are dependent on success, and they are 7 years out. And our money is going into the ground. Thank you.